Hello, today's video is going to take place over the course of a couple of weeks because I want to bring you all along for some of our USDA and then also WSDA beef processing. All that we have to do today is get some animals in, weigh them to determine our heavy weights, which are going to be going off tomorrow for USDA and then also on Saturday for WSDA. So come along and see what it is like to process beef in Washington State. So working on getting everyone into the chute here. We have the scale set up, so we're going to weigh each one individually and then just make note of it and decide who ends up going.
$12.70.
We're going to select 4 off that are going to be hauled tomorrow. It has started raining, so I'm not going to take the camera out in that, but we are just sorting those guys off, and then we're going to place them in a back area of our corral where there's some water and then also a little feeding station for them, and then we'll be hauling them off tomorrow morning. We are back. We are going to be loading up these animals this morning and taking them over to our USDA facility. We just got to take them from their back holding area that they're currently in and bring them into our loading area. For loading, we actually use our inside circle as part of it, and then we have a bud box extension off of that helps us load, and then we have a chute that just goes directly up to the trailer. After the animals are loaded into the trailer, they are brought to Puget Sound Processing, where they are harvested before being transported to the butcher, Minder Meats in Bremerton. Puget Sound Processing is considered a mobile slaughter unit because they utilize a semi-truck trailer instead of a building. The trailer allows them to transport beef and other USDA processed meats to butcher shops, although this is typically done by smaller trucks since they process animals using the trailer on a regular basis. When the animals arrive at the facility, they are offloaded into a holding area before they are moved into the chute. A squeeze chute is used to hold the animal in place while the captive bolt is deployed, rendering the animal insensible. This process is extremely quick, and then the animal is released from the side of the chute where it is bled before being moved to the trailer and processed into halves. The halves are then placed in the refrigerated section of the trailer till they are transported to Minder Meats the following day. Once offloaded at Minder Meats, the halves will dry age for at least 14 days, depending on the animal's weight. Heavier animals naturally take a little bit longer. During the dry aging process, enzymes help tenderize and develop the flavor of the meat. After the dry aging process is complete, Minder Meats begins the cut and wrap process. We have about 30 different cuts we have made by them, of which include ground beef, organ meats, soup bones, and a variety of steaks and roasts, of course. But before we get to that point, larger sections called primals have to be broken down into smaller sections called subprimals. Before vacuum sealing cuts that were cut with the bone saw, fat and bone from the saw have to be scraped off of each piece. For cuts that are under a pound, a different kind of vacuum sealer is used that uses a little bit less plastic and also just pumps out the product sealed a little bit faster than their other one. After the product is vacuum sealed, it is weighed and a label is produced with a coordinating price. Netting is used on specific roasts to hold it firm and tight while it cooks so that the meat doesn't fall apart or loosen. At Minder Meats, it's a constant rotation between halves to primals to subprimals and then to individual cuts to the vacuum sealer and then to be labeled and put into the freezer. This process continues on until all of the meat that we've sent to them is packaged, frozen, and ready for us to pick up. Then, all that's left to do is drive to Bremerton to pick up the meat that was cut, packaged, boxed, and frozen for us, and bring it back home to our freezer on the ranch. Thank you all for coming along to see what it is like for us to process USDA beef in the state of Washington. We look forward to showing you more of what we do here on the ranch in the next one.